split screen. So that's all right.
There's Travis.
No big deal.
All right, we're gonna.
Yeah, we couldn't get the audio feed to pull in right. It was giving us feedback.
Yeah, I could see and hear you guys fine. But...
Yeah, the second we pulled up your audio, though, it went right back to the microphone. It was giving us feedback. No big deal. Normally I'd be able to fix it, but I got a distraction here in the studio tonight.
We got Phil and Gary here tonight, so they decided to bring a bunch of bananas down and surprise us.
Yeah, big banana guys.
Oh my God, it's brutal. You have no idea.
Oh, not me.
Yeah, Gary's munching on one right now, Travis. He walked over and pulled it out in front of the camera, and he's munching on it right now.
There's a picture of Travis on Old Men on a banana bike.
Yeah.
I'm hanging with you guys. I sat on the banana bike.
How did it feel?
I mean, did it feel old?
Yeah, it did feel good.
Well, in all fairness, when I was up at Ronnie's a few weeks ago, John Levesque did start one with his hand.
That's right, he did. And that was not video shopped.
That was not video shopped. That was legit. He started it with his hand, and it was a 450.
That's actually pretty impressive.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about what you got going on. I know you won the NESC 450 Pro Championship last spring, right? And the Open Experts.
Yep. That was definitely something to cross off the list. It's cool to just be on, in the NESC book with those guys. There's a lot of legends in there, so it's definitely something like being from New England. Like, I took a little, it definitely took some pride in put myself on that list. So
absolutely.
I was really get that done.
And you know what? I know from being just a guy way back when that finished in the top 5. I never won a moto and never got anywhere near where you got. The amount of work it took to just be in the top 5 was ridiculous. So I can only imagine, what your routine was like trying to get out there. I mean, I looked tonight on your Instagram. You were out on your mountain bike before you came on here with us.
Yeah, I got out of work and went mountain biking, and yeah, we're here. But yeah, I mean, it's tough for sure. I mean, it's a grind, week in, week out. I've been kind of thinking, saying that I wish we had like a few less races because
yeah,
especially to do spring and fall,
mm-hmm.
and then doing some nationals and doing some other stuff. Like, it's a grind for sure to be in the title hunt. But I mean, I feel like you had a little bit more difficult. You had stack classes back.
I don't know though, because yeah, we did. We had some stack classes, but I mean, we had Dowdy. You have Canning. It's like there's a lot of similarities, and it's just like I always just tell people. I felt like if I had a great day, I ate my Wheaties, and I liked the track, I could actually keep some of those guys in sight. But for you guys, you're all in there battling, mixing it up, and it's just like, wow, you guys are moving so fast. I mean, my utmost respect to you guys for the stuff that you have to ride. And I was talking to somebody this morning, the new bikes, you're in the air so much of the time where we weren't,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I'm not even really a fan of riding a 450. I guess it suits me, my style, but still, like, they're so fast. Like, it's sometimes not even enjoyable to ride, But
yep.
I are lucky that we have, better suspension and everything than they had back in the day. But yeah, no, like I said, it was definitely something cool to get done. And but yeah, it's just a grind, like being at the track. This, like, we only have 5 or 6 tracks on the schedule, which.
Yep.
We go to a lot of the same tracks over and over again, so that kind of gets a little monotonous. But yeah, so to be in it every week is tough. But yeah, like you said, it's definitely tough and
it's work. It's a job. It's a job too, and from what I gather, I see a lot of Jack's posts. With you guys chasing some of the Supercross and the Nationals and stuff like that. So when you throw that into the fact that you're still trying to ride local. That's a lot. That is a lot of traveling, a lot of work.
It's expensive.
Working on the bikes has got to be just insane.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Like, honestly, I've had, like, a couple of my, friends from, like, town, and everything, and they're like, we don't really see you that much. And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, man, I get out of work, I go to work, 6 a.m. I get out of work, and I'm training, I'm riding, I'm working on every day. Like, it's literally sun up till sundown. So
yep.
Yeah, it is. It's a full-time second job pretty much for the way that I have to go about it. So, but yeah, it takes, it's a lot more than just me doing it. You got Phil there with
Yep. Yep.
Jack. Without Phil and Jack, like, it's not, I wouldn't have been able to do anything, for the past couple of years. They've helped me a lot. So, it's not just me. I do a lot of the day in and day out, but there's a lot more to it.
Absolutely.
Big time.
You gotta, if you got good people in your corner, it
All
makes
about your
it that
support
much
structure.
easier. Yeah, to chase that, and from what I've seen, you're doing very well. I mean, just winning New England is just a huge, huge accomplishment. But even on the nationals, making the mains, making the national motos and stuff, and no slouch to make a moto these days. I tell you, these guys, you guys are absolutely flying. Just to get into these motos, it's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not easy. But yeah, I would. I've gotten into a bunch of Southwicks and everything, but which is awesome. But I definitely want, that's a huge motivation for me, is to be better at, other nationals other than Southwick. I got into one at Ironman, couple, like 21, but other than that, I've kind of laid an egg at, at Unadilla and Buds and everything. So that's something that I definitely need to, is motivating me to keep going, and to work harder and everything. Cause, it's just finding different challenges that, as motivation, that's what keeps me going. But yeah, being better on the national scene is something that I really want to do and really pushing for 23.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and the other thing is, and as Jack pointed this out to me, because I didn't realize that you were 30 years old. You're
I don't think people actually know that.
I was going to say, you're doing more and getting better as you get older.
Reminds us of somebody else back in the day.
Yeah, I 100% am. Like, and it's just knowledge and experience and everything. I've done a lot by myself, so I've had to learn in all Supercross. With just like one person helping me, two people helping me, like, to get me to the races. But a lot of times I'm there, doing everything by myself. I don't have somebody that can travel with me all the time. So, like, throughout the years, I've learned, I need to do this better, I need to do that better. And that's all that it really is that's helped me get better as I got older. Because 100%, I'm way better than I was, even 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years last time I really raced Supercross. So
yeah,
that's something that I would like, I wish I could again, because I do feel like I'm a lot better. I work a lot harder. Every part of my program is way better than it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just attribute that to learning as I go.
Yeah, your experience.
Yeah, it's the
Absolutely.
basic thing. I knew then what I know now. That
I always found too that as you aged as a rider, your skill level's there. And granted, there's always room to improve. But once you're comfortable with where your skill set is, it becomes more about the knowledge of the surfaces and the tracks that you're riding on. When you're young, I felt like when especially in my case, when I was young, you would just ride as hard as you could for as long as you could. But as you age and you develop your skill set, now it's like, okay, now you pay a lot more attention to memorizing sections of the track and lines and things like that, and trying to get your laps to click faster. I don't know if that's still a similar situation, with like what you got going on.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I always try to, like, if I'm trying to help somebody, I see many guys on the practice track and they're just like pounding out motos, or whatever. just trying to go as fast as they can for as long as they can, which, sometimes you do need to do that. But what's helped me a lot is just working on my technique and working on sections, and just like when I go to the track, I have a plan, every day.
Right.
I have goals and a plan for what I want to do, because when I didn't have that so much, you don't really feel like you're gaining anything, but now I've learned, to work, take a day to work on my technique, take a day to work on sprints, take, a day to do a couple 30s or whatever it is,
It's the opposite way we attack the show. We used to plan the show and it sucked. Then we stopped planning anything and it got really good. Right, Phil?
I know exactly what you're talking about, Travis, and it's kind of cool because you appreciate it more, I think, as you age. Even though you're doing better, you're feeling better on the bike, I think you're appreciating it a lot more for yourself because you know how hard you work to get there, and you just don't take it for granted when you have a little bit of success,
Yeah, 100%, because, you're right, because, now it's kind of like a little of everything, because I also work harder now, so
yep.
I show up and I'm like, all right, I deserve it a little bit more. So it's some of the appreciating what I have, and then some of the knowing that I'm doing, feeling like I'm doing more work than the guys I'm racing. So
right.
A little of both, but definitely, when I was thinking about stuff to talk about, on the show tonight, I was thinking I really do appreciate the help I have and the support I have, and
yep.
everybody, everybody that somebody comes up to me and says good moto or you look good out there, even little stuff like that, I'm a little bit more thankful than I was, 8 years ago,
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you're in the pits and you walk by, especially on a local level where everybody has access to you, it's nice to have, people that you don't know come up and be like, hey, I just watched that moto. You're absolutely flying it. You did this section perfectly, or, I saw you had a little stumble over there, but you'll get it, that type of thing. And it's like every comment is always, it's good to have that, and to have that fan base even at a local level, because a lot of guys don't realize that they have people watching them.
It's true.
Yeah, I think it actually means more to, it's always cool to get notoriety on a national level or whatever, but I think it's when it's at the local level, because when I raced Supercross, I wasn't really racing much NESC. I'd pop in here and there or whatever, but I didn't really feel like nobody really knew what I was doing. Nobody really expected much out of me. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how I felt.
Yeah.
So when I stopped racing Supercross, I was like, well, I want to prove myself, against, because I take pride in being from New England. So
right.
I want to be a guy in New England. So that, I feel like I had to earn recognition locally, even though,
absolutely.
I felt like it was two completely different things.
Yep. No, I got you 100%, and
that makes sense.
It totally makes sense, and it's weird because the amount of work that it takes for you to go and do Supercrosses and do nationals and to get away from New England, sometimes it's more than just staying local, and it's not just a matter of packing up the van and going to ride somewhere else. It takes dedication and being away and on the road for weeks at a time.
Yeah, and that's why I haven't raced Supercross, and why I kind of stopped is just there's no Supercross around here to ride.
Yep.
And so I would have to leave for 5-6 months at a time just to do it right. And so I was never interested in not doing it right. So
exactly.
I do. So although I did a year or two of not doing it right, but I learned quick.
Sometimes those are the hardest lessons to learn.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember 2015, I did most of the East Coast, but I didn't know what I was doing. I had done one or two the year before. I literally showed up to the first race. I hadn't rode a dirt bike since like November because I didn't have any time to come down south or anything. So like just when I think back on that, I'm like, geez, I don't know what I was doing. So
yeah, but you know what though? You lived through it and you pressed on, and look at now. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You know, I never made a main event. I was close, you know, a handful of times.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that sucks, and that's something that was something, you know, something I really wanted to do or whatever. So, you know, that stings, especially, you know, when I think about the couple of times I was really close. But at the time, I just had this. I was just putting myself in such a hole financially. I just had to at least take a year off, and you know that's kind of what put me, you know, back to being an NESC regular.
Yeah, I think a lot of that time too. You know, it's almost like your career is so long, the time on the bike, that you have to take a look at some of the things that didn't happen. You have to look more about all the other stuff that did, all the good stuff that did, and kind of make peace with it. You know, and after time, you know, it's still there that. You know, the stuff that stings like that, but you can deal with it a little bit better.
Yeah, and you know, I didn't make a main event, but if I made one main event, it's not really going to change my life, you know, drastically.
No.
But I mean, personally, you know, just accomplishing goals is nice.
Yes.
But,
yes.
Short of goals sucks. But, but yeah, when I think back and like. I've gotten to travel so much and met, you know, some of my best friends that live all across the country, you know.
Yeah.
So that's something that no matter what, you're going to be, you know, thankful for dirt bikes for that. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and heck,
this group.
I saw you on race day live. I saw those, you know, it's like we were watching that day, and that was damn cool to see somebody from New England out there, you know, because anytime anybody talks about New England in motocross, it doesn't matter where you are. It's always either John or Doug or JoJo, you know, and it's never like you guys, the younger generation. I'm like, yeah, it's great to have those guys, but you know, we all had our time. This is your time.
Yeah, and I beat my head against the wall trying to figure out like what's so different. Like why, you know, Canning is great. You know, he's awesome.
Yeah.
But why things aren't, you know, we don't have that type of national level, not talent. I think we have a lot of talented riders, but just success on the national level from the newer generation. It's like, I don't really know what to attribute that to. I mean, I think some things in New England have kind of stayed the same, you know, haven't really changed with the times.
Right.
If you look at the tracks, a lot of the tracks are really not that different from when they were, you know, what they were in the 90s, or,
right.
you know.
Right.
And so I think that's something huge. But it's also tough because now you have a different way of track prep, and I know a lot of the tracks try to do that, but we just don't really have that type of dirt. You know, we don't have the type of dirt around here where you can just rip it deep and get big. You know, that's a huge part of showing up at a national. You know, that's what you're faced with. I
blame Ricky Carmichael. Like Chad Reed said, he ruined the sport. He said he put training to the front line of motocross. People started taking it seriously when Ricky started hiring a trainer and started going to the gym.
Yeah,
that ruined it for, you know, like you had to take it seriously. It was no job. You know,
but
he hired what's his name and Baker and forget about it.
I could tell you though, like, you know, stuff like Southwick though, like you're talking about the tracks remaining the same. I had not been on Southwick for probably like 16 years. There was a gap for 16 years I hadn't been there. And when I got back on Southwick, when Keith decided to run it and make it more like the original layout, the bumps were the same. Yep. You know, the lines, the bumps, the way you get at that camel hump, where you get a square-edged hole on the bottom side of it coming back up. It was exactly the same when I got back on that track in 2016 that it was in 1988.
Wow.
it was like everybody says that, you know, the JoJo scrub, the JoJo scrub. Well, the only reason that you had to do that was because you had to get to the side of the track on the landing to get around that square edge hole coming up, you know?
Yep.
And it's just incredible the way that tracks still form the same. It doesn't matter if it's 2 strokes, 4 strokes, whatever. They still form the same bumps and ruts and stuff like that they did back then.
Do miss the frog pond though. Still there, just on the other side of the.
I missed the frog pond too, but you get to look down. We can look down the driveway that everybody rides down and see the berm at the bottom where frog pond was.
Yeah, I'm not sure people are aware that's still there or not when you drive down. But we noticed it last time we were out.
So what do you got for plans for this year, Travis? What's on your agenda?
So yeah, I'm gonna in a few weeks I'm gonna head to Florida, get some training in with one of my buddies, Max Darling. He actually has a pretty cool thing going with training kids that he just started up like this past year, and it's doing pretty well. Not that he's going to be training me or anything, but we're just going to be training and riding together.
Yeah.
His dad actually has helped me a lot. I would say in 2021, I think if you look, you know, if anybody had been paying attention or even you can look at my results in 2021, my results got a lot better. And I 100% attribute that to the time that I spent with Max and his dad. And so, yeah, that's what I'm going to do here in a few weeks, spend, you know, a bunch of weeks down there with them.
That's
and,
cool.
Yeah, luckily, you know, my job's cool with, you know,
Yeah, that's always a tough gig. That's one of the reasons why, you know, the New England guys, you either left and went to Florida and you had a job that you could do that, or you worked all winter and saved up as much money as you could to pay the bills for the following season, you know?
Yeah, or even like you just can't make as much money racing locally now as
no,
good, not even close. Even like contingency is a joke. Oh, so
yep.
Compared to what it was, I think what I made in contingency this year. I mean, yeah, I could have done a better job of chasing contingency races and everything, but I was just following NESC. So, yeah, what I made is a joke compared to what they make, you know, 20, 30 years ago. So that makes it tough too, because you go down, race, win, you know, the Gold Cup or whatever it is, and race all those races, make a bunch of money. I know they still have those races. I'm not sure what those guys are making for money, but
it takes a lot to get there, though. That's the only thing. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Come back right around the time NESC starts, and try to plans to defend my title, and you know, get in a mix of U.S. nationals and then Canadian nationals also. So
there you go.
Yeah, I went to Canada in 2019 for the first time, and I did pretty well. I did some of their supercrosses, and I did a couple of nationals, and I did pretty well.
Yep.
And then COVID happened, and I couldn't go back. So
you couldn't
like,
cross the border, yeah.
I wish that I'd started racing over there years ago, but yeah, as soon as I did, then I couldn't go back. So as of now, the border's open, so I definitely have plans to go there and try to do pretty well. So,
you definitely got the speed. I can tell you that from watching you go. I mean, you're going to do quite well up there. And even down here, you know, just getting in and making the national motos it's a chore. And like you said, those other national tracks other than Southwick do get to be a bit more of a challenge. But at the same time, you know, you got that right work ethic. You got people around you that are making it fun. It'll happen.
I'm pretty confident that I can still make another pretty big jump this year. You know, going back with Maxim's dad, like I was saying, like that really helps me. You know, the way that they work with me, it really clicks with me. So we made a lot of gains. I didn't do that here. I was actually I actually wrenched for my buddy Logan Carnow.
Yep.
You know, so going to all the supercrosses and everything, I wrenched for him most of the supercross too. So, I kind of, you know, a lot of riding and training, even though I was with him. But
Yep.
it wasn't like I wasn't working on stuff so much like I will be, like I was in 21 or like I will be coming up here. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
You're going to be working more on it for you as opposed to just trying to fit a little bit in for mental health or something like that while you're working on somebody else's stuff.
yeah, it's stressful. Like it was really cool. Like I'd never been out to Cali and everything, so like riding those tracks and being out there and going to all the races. Of course I'd rather be racing, but like I'm such a big fan of the sport too.
Yes.
Like being on that side of it, wrenching and it's a really cool experience. So
Absolutely.
It was different, but it was definitely really cool, and I'm really happy I was able to do that too. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I got planned. I mean, things will always change a little bit here and there. I might dabble in riding a little bit of Supercross actually. While I'm down there, if I'm working on getting, I just need some suspension because.
Yeah, you can't do it on stocks on national or outdoor suspension. That no way.
But I think I got some suspension, so just something I can dabble with it and see how I feel, and if I feel good, maybe I'll do a couple. It's been a while, and I don't really have much more time to try racing Supercross. So
Right. Absolutely. I mean,
I'm definitely really focused on doing well, continuing to do well and take another jump up here.
Yep.
And then, making those nationals that aren't Southwick, and then I want to be top 10 in Canada. So
there you go.
So that's what I'm going for.
Yep. I can tell you though, and I don't know if you feel the same way. There's almost nothing cooler than making the motos at Southwick and doing that parade lap for the first moto, and just having all your buddies on the fence just screaming and cheering as you go by. It's like that sends shivers down your spine. Even now, for me, like 40 years later, I still get shivers thinking about that.
That's cool.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny because in 2018, I had done all of East Coast Supercross, and I had raced. I got a 450. I just bought like a used 450 just to ride in the summer.
Yeah.
And I did a couple of races, and I was like, you know what? Let's do Southwick National. So I did it on my Supercross bike. Had never rode the bike. Had never rode the bike on an outdoor track. Put my bone stock suspension from a used bike. Who how many hours was on that suspension?
Yeah.
Put it. Never rode the bike outdoors, let alone with that suspension. And I made the motos, and yeah, that was. It was kind of caught me off guard, like how sick that was, like that feeling of the parade lap, and I had done, I made a ton of night shows in Supercross, and you're like, that. How can you top this? When especially like being the first heat race after opening ceremonies and everything. That's sweet, but going around your home track and having fans, you can clearly hear the fans cheering for you.
Oh yeah, especially when. It's like you recognize the faces.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't realize it, but even during the motos, sometimes you can catch glimpses of people that on the sides of the fence, but especially on that parade lap, there's people that that are right there, and you're next to them, and you can hear them, you can hear everything.
Yeah, it's tough to describe, to experience it is really, really special.
Mm-hmm. It sticks with you for your life, I can tell you that.
Yep.
But no, that's awesome, and dude, I'm stoked for you. I loved watching different people come through, and the fact that the age thing really isn't that big of an issue anymore. I mean, you're 30, and it's almost to the point with like, I want to say you're only 30, because you look at guys like Shane Kelleher, who's 40, and he's still up there mixing it up.
Still flying.
Yeah. It's even at the very top level, you got a bunch of guys that are 29, 30, young, low 30s, and they're at their peak. So
yep.
I feel like I'm riding as good as I ever have, and my body feels as good as it ever has. It's I didn't expect, I wouldn't have expected this, 10 years ago, but it's just the way it is.
It is, and it's like, I'll tell you, we get so many good places too that you can ride around here and practice with different types of terrain. You're going to get a good variation, and they don't all beat the hell out of you, so you get a lot of bike skills, even at a place, that's maybe more of a vet friendly track. You're still going to get a lot of bike skills out of that, trying to hit corners with your feet in the pegs, and throttle control and things like that will really help balance off your skill set.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes, I used to hate riding in the sand, and but I learned to like it, like the gnarly, rough sand, deep sand tracks. Like I actually really enjoy that, and I used to hate that. But that helps you with one skill set, but also you need to ride basic stuff. You can work on basic skills too at the same time. So, and we definitely do have that here. We have a lot of sand, we have a lot of hard pack, we have, a little bit of everything. So, yeah, I like to mix it up. Like I said, that's something that's tough with racing NESC every weekend, is going to the same track. So, yeah, I like to mix it up as much as I can.
I can totally understand that statement, because I know it hasn't been much different in the last, 40 years.
Well, even Phil, I don't know how all those guys just ride 508 and 23 all year.
I tell you what, Phil dragged me out to 508. You showed up later that day. I saw you guys down the hill a little bit, but I had a blast, because as an old guy, that's a great track. It's so much fun. But
actually, we've talked about this on, me, Jack, and our buddy Nick and Corey's podcast that we started. We've talked about 508 a bunch, actually, and shout out to them for working on the track in January. Whether people like the track or not, that's pretty cool of them to be doing.
And Dan messaged me the other day. Actually, I was on the phone with Dan from 23, and he said the same thing. He was out there. They were cutting trees. He was building stuff for jumps and fixing stuff to try to get the track to a spot that he's got people, that made suggestions for, that make it a little bit different, a little bit more variation, maybe safer in some spots for the general masses. So it's cool that those guys are doing that, and they're working on the tracks.
Yeah, and I know that Dan hates, that 508 is so close, but hopefully, it works out. Like, he's, like you said, he's working on it. He knows that, they have their competition. So I think it's both of the levels of both the tracks. So they may, but it's good for us. We get to, get the best out of the tracks.
There's definitely some variation. That is for sure. So you mentioned the podcast. I was going to ask you. You guys got the Revved Up Moto podcast. I check it out. I listen to you guys once in a while. It's fun hearing different opinions. What made you guys want to do it?
So a lot of times we were just on PS4, just bullshit, and we actually had some really good conversations. So we were like, if we recorded this conversation, like that podcast goal. So we just decided to do it. So it's not. It's gone through peaks and valleys so far. We're a little inconsistent with it. We have not really done any shows in the off season, but mostly what we do is talk about the races. So if there's no race, we're just trying to stay in our lane, I guess, for now.
That's cool, though. I mean, that it's awesome, because it's great. It adds variation, and it gives people different options to hear different opinions about things. And I mean, even like us with this, we had started this a couple years ago, and COVID kind of shut us down. I think it's been we decided it was 2.5 years that we didn't do anything, and then all of a sudden now we decided to come back.
Right there.
Yeah, Phil. It's been Phil and Gary. They got us back going again, doing it.
Yeah, so it's cool. I mean, it seems like I just can't. I'm surprised at actually how many like good responses and responses in general that we've gotten. You know, people always come up to me and talk about the podcast, and I'm like, you actually listen to that? But I mean, no, it's cool, and we definitely want to keep improving it and taking it a little bit more seriously. So that's what we're gonna try to do this coming year, and it's cool because this fall, all four of us on the podcast were pretty much at every race. So
Yeah.
we all have our different opinions on everything, and we try to be like pretty. We try to be on the in as much as we can. Jack's really good at being on the in. You know, he knows everybody.
Yeah, Jack knows everybody. I mean, Jack's like, he messages me, when are you riding? When are you going on mountain bike rides? Let me know. And you know, he's been out with us a couple of times. We got to get all you guys out together with us. I got some savages out here that some old moto guys, some bicycle guys, whatever. We ride some gnarly shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, I would like to go with you guys. I've been riding the place near my house in Pomfret. It's kind of a new spot, and it's actually really good. So I don't know how close you live to Pomfret, Connecticut, but
a couple hours. Phil says a couple hours, but we like to ride.
That's tough, yeah.
We rode last weekend. We rode in a park in the middle of Boston. That was just some of the most radical, gnarly riding. I mean, downhill trails, enduro type stuff. It was insane, and it was just a blast doing it. And it's just something that we do now and have a blast and try to stay in shape, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've gotten like really into the bicycles lately. You know, it's good, you know, like you said, for getting in shape, and it's easy. It's, you know, for the most part, it's easy on the body too. So
yep.
I try to do a mix of everything as far as like, you know, running, bicycle,
yeah,
you know, road bike, mountain bike, running, gym,
yep.
You know, all of it. You got to do all of it. But the bicycling that's my favorite.
I do. I love it. And you know what? I'm to the age where I decided that I just enjoy my e-bike so much more than anything else. I have a regular bike too, but I love riding the e-bike. So, and one of my buddies said to me, as long as it puts a smile on your face, just keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way I go about it.
Yep. So while we got you on here, is there anybody that you want to thank?
Well, yeah, I definitely got to thank Phil. More than he has any. I can't thank him enough because he's really kept me going here the last couple of years. And then Brian Knoyer's helped me the last couple of years too. So
yeah,
I have to thank him. And then, you know, Jack for. I mean, I don't think I thank Jack enough when I think about it. Like, he's gone to so many races with me. A lot of times he's drove,
mm-hmm.
And I think I got to thank his girlfriend Bree too, because I was thinking about this mountain biking today. Like, I think every guy knows how it is when, you know, you want to go do something, but your chick's like, yeah, you can't do that. Like, Bree's not like that. Bree just tags along, so that's
yeah.
So I got to thank both of them, and, you know, Jack being the FXR
guy. Yep, that always helps.
Yep, FXR.
Phil's holding his FXR sweatshirt out right now. No, that's awesome. I mean, and yeah, you're right. It helps to have real good people in your corner because it makes it that much more enjoyable, and it makes it easier on you to be able to focus on what you need to do to get to those goals.
And, you know, there's a ton of people, you know, TCE, my suspension guy, helped me a lot with, you know, I've been on the same model bike for a while, but we've gotten the thing so good, and I've gotten a couple people to try him out, and they agree. The dude's really good. He helps me out a lot.
Yeah.
But now we have a new project here with the 23. I just got my 23 last week, so
I saw it sitting in the pool room. Was it pool room?
Where I am right now?
Where the bike was. I saw it sitting in your house. Was it next to a pool table? Was that where you posted it?
It was at Motorsports Nation.
Oh, Motorsports, all right.
Have like a little, I don't know.
Lounge.
the lounge up there. Yeah. So I was like, all right, take the video up here.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, though. No,
Yeah.
congrats on that. That's going to be good. Setting up a new bike is always fun, but it's always one of those challenges that, you know, it's fun, but it's something that you almost dread doing because you just want to ride. You don't want to have to go through what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. Talked about a lot of the, you know, pluses of being, you know, getting years of experience
Mm-hmm.
in as far as the training and just knowing what to do. But the bad thing is I'm a lot more sensitive to bike setup than I used to be. So
Yep.
I always am like tinkering, you know, clicks here, clicks there. And so that's a bad part. But that's interesting because, like I said, I've been on the same model bike for 4 years now. So I haven't even had to really worry about that. You know, it's just making adjustments here and there to make it a little bit better here, a little bit better there. So now we
Yep.
have a whole new thing to try to learn. But reviews are good, so
You know what you like and you know how to make it better.
yeah, yep,
You know, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. That's and being comfortable there, it does nothing but build confidence too. So, you know, that always helps.
yeah, yep.
Gary just said, Travis, you need champion yellow. Don't do it, Travis. Don't do it. His head.
We'll let Kenny Roxon test that out first.
There you go.
Perfect. There you go.
There you go. I did see Jack making the change over to my favorite brand though. I like the green.
I know all the revved up boys are on Team Green now. I'm the lone blue crew rider.
Uh-oh. Well, that's good because then they won't be asking you for your spare parts.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, but I also won't be able to steal parts off of them. So
That's a drawback. That is the one drawback to it. But awesome, man. I do appreciate you coming on. This has been great chatting with you and you know, getting to hear a little bit about what you got going on and your side of moto.
yeah, thank you for having me. I got to be honest, I've never listened to the show. I've heard of it, but
That's okay.
I may have actually tuned in. Now that I think about it, for like one episode, I listened to a little bit. But
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, I've never listened. But yeah, you guys are doing. You know, I listened to the Barry Higgins. Tough for me to follow up a legend like that. But
Yeah.
I knew the name, but I didn't realize how much of a legend of the sport he was. Like, that dude's badass. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we've had some good guys on. If you roll back to our older shows, we've had a lot of good guests.
Yeah,
over
we
time.
like to mix it up. Like we'll have the people on and we'll talk to people, and then we like to, you know, we got the original crew that just it's nothing but busting balls and
Yeah, they walked in tonight.
yeah, two of them walked in tonight. That's for sure. It's like, well, you see it because you see when the ride days come up and all these guys get together at the track, what it's like, and that's kind of like the shows kind of go off the rails sometime, usually in the last hour, with a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Our show goes off the rails about 5 minutes in every time.
Sometimes that's the recipe for success.
But no, I like
put a poll
guys
up. 100% of the people want them back on.
really cool. Like I feel like it's gotten my dad back into it. You know, having Phil and all those guys riding every weekend. You know, because my dad stopped riding for a while.
It was
now I
really
think,
cool to ride with your dad out at 508.
Yeah, now he's been riding. He rides during the week in the summer more than I do.
All right,
Yeah.
I got to interrupt. Vic O'Brien just said, Travis, no one can tolerate more than one show.
No one could tell. Oh, no one could tell. Yeah.
But yet, Vic's been on the show, and he keeps tuning in.
Vic O'Brien. Yep, he's a critic. That's for sure.
Yep.
Love him.
Yeah, if you could accidentally jump the track of Southwick and run over Vic, we might buy you dinner.
I can't say that. Vic actually stopped to help pick me up off the ground one day.
Did he push you over first, though?
Oh, no.
Okay.
He made sure that I was okay. And when I said, yeah, he roosted me a little as he rode away. But anyway, so no, it's been awesome having you on. And I do appreciate your time tonight. And definitely we'll be watching and I'll be listening
We'll be
to the Wrapped
supporting
Up
and cheering you
podcast.
on. Yep.
Yeah, we'll try to step it up a little bit this year.
Nah, you guys are doing great. Stick with what works and what you
Absolutely.
love.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, and Yeah, I'll come on anytime.
All right,
We
man.
appreciate it. Perfect.
Thank-
One
Yep.
more I want to thank.
Yep.
I just want to thank everybody at Motorsports Nation too, because they helped me with the new bike, and
There you
they've been
go.
helping 10 plus years now. So I feel like I can thank them.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Yep. Great people. Definitely help you out, and definitely good to have on your side.
Yep, for sure. But yeah, thanks for having me on. And yeah, if you guys are mountain biking anywhere remotely in my area or whatever, if you're going with Jack and
Yeah.
let Jack invite me, and I'll come out with you guys.
We'll get all you guys. Someday we'll get a ride going up in Milford where Jack's ridden a couple times at Vietnam. We got to get all you guys up there. That place is absolutely ridiculously sick.
All right.
So we'll have a road trip. We'll get a bunch of people up there.
All right. That sounds good.
All right, man.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Thank
All
you,
right, see
Travis.
you, Travis. Have a good one.
You too.
Have a
See
great
ya.
night. Bye bye.
You too.